What if I told you your brain is lying to you every single day? You think you're making smart, logical choices. But in reality, every decision about what you buy, who you date, even what you believe, it is quietly being hijacked. Let me show you. Imagine walking into a cafe. A small latte costs $3, a large costs $7, and right in the middle, there's a medium for $6.50. Most people instantly pick the middle option. Why? Because it feels like a clever compromise. But here's the twist, that medium only exists to make the large look like a better deal. You didn't choose rationally. You were nudged perfectly, predictably, irrationally. And it doesn't stop there. From how you value your possessions, to why free makes you lose your mind. Why do you keep every door open, even when it's destroying your focus? Your brain keeps running ancient programs that were never meant for the modern world. Dan Ariely spent decades proving that we're not stupid. We're human. And the human mind, when left on autopilot, is the most powerful illusionist alive. But once you see the tricks, you can turn them into tools, because the same biases that make you predictable can make you unstoppable. So let's decode the invisible forces that shape every decision you make. And if you're new here, hit subscribe, because what you'll learn in the next few minutes might just change the way you think forever. The illusion of rationality. We like to believe we're logical creatures and that our choices make sense. We compare, we calculate, we weigh pros and cons. But the truth? Most of the time, we're not reasoning. We're justifying. Our brains make emotional decisions first and then build logic afterward to defend them. You see, evolution didn't design us to make perfect choices. It is designed to help us survive, to spot danger, seek comfort, and copy what everyone else is doing. And those ancient mental shortcuts are the same ones that once kept us alive on the savannah. Now quietly run your life in the supermarket, the stock market, and your relationships. Dan Ariely calls these patterns predictable irrationality. They're not random mistakes, they're systematic, which means if you understand how they work, you can predict your own bad decisions before you make them. One of Ariely's most famous experiments proves this perfectly. He offered students 3 subscription options to The Economist magazine. Online access for $59, print only for $125, or both print and online for the same $125. Almost everyone chose the third one. Why? Because compared to the useless print-only option, the combo looked like a great deal. But when Ariely removed that middle option, suddenly most people went for the cheapest one. Nothing changed except context. Our perception of value only exists in comparison. We don't know what's fair. We only know what feels fair. That's how companies shape your perception before you even realize it. They don't just sell products, they sell contrast. And once you understand that, you start seeing invisible price tags everywhere, not on shelves, but inside your own head. But context is just the beginning. Because the next bias is even more dangerous, it can make you chase things you don't even want, simply because they're free. The hidden power of context. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You almost never know what something is worth. Not money, not time, not even people. You only know what they're worth in comparison to something else. Dan Ariely calls this the relativity trap, the invisible force that shapes almost every choice you make. Take real estate. You walk into a neighborhood with 3 houses for sale. House A is small but cheap. House B is big and beautiful. House C is almost the same as House B, just slightly worse. Without realizing it, your brain compares B and C and decides B looks like a great deal. But if C didn't exist, you might have chosen the smaller, cheaper house instead. The presence of one decoy changed your entire sense of value. Advertisers know this game better than anyone. That's why restaurants add a $300 bottle of wine to the menu, not because anyone buys it, but because it makes the $80 bottle feel reasonable. It's not manipulation, it's a psychological design. And once you understand it, you start seeing it everywhere. In supermarkets, in dating apps. Even in your own self-comparisons when you measure your life against someone else's highlight reel on social media. You're not miserable, because your life is bad. You're miserable because you're comparing it to a decoy that doesn't exist. But there's one force even stronger than relativity. A single word that hijacks logic, kills restraint, and makes rational people behave like kids in a candy store. That word is free. The magic and danger of free. Ariely ran a simple experiment. He placed 2 bowls of chocolate on a table. One had high-quality Lindt truffles for 15 cents each. The other had cheap Hershey's Kisses completely free. People could choose one. When both options were priced fairly, almost everyone chose the premium chocolate. But when Ariely made the Hershey's completely free, the crowd went wild. Even though the Lindt was a better deal in terms of value, the word free erased all logic. Why? Because when something is free, we don't ask, is it worth it? We just grab it because there's no downside, or so we think. But there's always a cost. It might not be money. It could be time, attention, or the loss of a better opportunity. The price of free is often invisible until it's too late. Free triggers an ancient survival instinct. Our ancestors didn't pass up free food or free shelter. Today, that same instinct makes us waste hours on free apps, free trials, and free dopamine hits on social media. The result? We feel productive, entertained, and even smart. But we're paying with the only currency that really matters, our focus. So next time you see free, ask yourself, is it really free, or is it just expensive in disguise? Because the next illusion doesn't just trick your wallet, it tricks your heart. Emotion versus logic. The illusion of self-control. We love to think we're in control, that our rational mind, calm, logical, unshakable, runs the show. But when emotion enters the room, logic quietly leaves. Dan Ariely once ran a disturbing experiment. He asked male students to answer a list of moral questions about love, consent, and risk twice. Once in a calm, rational state, and once in a state of sexual arousal. The results? In the hot, emotional state, their moral compass didn't just shift, it flipped. The same men who moments before said, "I'd never do that," suddenly said, "Maybe I would." This is what psychologists call the hot-cold empathy gap, our total inability to predict how emotion will change our decisions. We underestimate anger, temptation, stress, and fear until they take over, and we become someone else. It's the reason you yell in arguments you swore you'd stay calm in. It's why you make impulse purchases at midnight. It's why we eat the cake, send the text, or open that message we promised to ignore. We're not weak, we're human. Our emotions don't ask for permission. They rewrite the script. Ariely's point isn't to shame us, it's to wake us up. Because if we know when our hot state takes control, we can start building systems that protect our cold self from the chaos. That's why smart people set commitment traps. They freeze their credit cards in a block of ice. They use apps that block distractions. They schedule workouts with friends, so quitting feels like betrayal. They don't rely on willpower. They design around their weaknesses. True self-control isn't about strength. It's about structure. Because the next illusion isn't just emotional. It's personal. It's about the things you own and how they start to own you. The ownership trap, when your stuff starts owning you. You think you own your possessions, but the truth is, they own you. Dan Ariely discovered something fascinating and a little depressing. It's called the endowment effect. The moment we own something, we instantly overvalue it, not because it's better, but because it's ours. He ran a simple experiment. Students were given free tickets to a big basketball game. Then, another group of students who didn't get tickets tried to buy them. Here's what happened. The sellers wouldn't part with their tickets for less than $2,400. The buyers? They refused to pay more than $170. Same event. Same seats. Completely different worlds. The second those tickets became mine, the owners' brains rewired their sense of value. They weren't selling paper anymore. They were selling a piece of their identity. And that's exactly what we all do. We attach our self-worth to the things we own: the car, the phone, the job title, the brand of our shoes. We're not buying products, we're buying micro-reflections of ourselves. That's why selling, quitting, or letting go feels painful, because every loss feels like losing a piece of who we are. Even decluttering a closet can feel emotional. It's not about the clothes, it's about the stories we attach to them. This is why businesses fight so hard to make you feel ownership before you even buy. Free trials. Customization. Your personal dashboard. Once you feel it's yours, it's almost impossible to walk away. But the real danger isn't what we own, it's what we refuse to let go. Projects that drain us. Relationships that no longer work. Ideas we should have buried years ago. We hold on not because they're good, but because they're ours. And here's the twist. The more we cling to everything, the less room we have for anything new. But Ariely discovered something even darker, a trap so subtle that it keeps us stuck chasing things we don't even care about. It's not about what we own. It's about what we might lose. The fear of closing doors. Why we can't let go. There's a story Dan Ariely tells about an experiment he ran with college students. Each student played a simple computer game. 3 colored doors appeared on the screen. Behind each door was a random cash reward. They could click between doors as much as they wanted, but every time they ignored a door for too long, it slowly started to shrink and then disappeared. Here's what happened. Even when the students knew which door had the best rewards, they still wasted clicks just to keep the other doors open. They'd rather earn less than lose an option. Sound familiar? We do this every day. We stay in half-dead jobs just in case. We text people we don't like just to keep the door open. We keep old hobbies, old tabs, old dreams, all running in the background, draining our mental battery one thought at a time. We tell ourselves it's about freedom, but it's not. It's about fear. The fear of missing out, the fear of making the wrong choice, the fear that once a door closes, we'll never get another. But here's the paradox. When every door is open, you can't walk through any of them. We end up scattered, distracted, and stuck in the hallway running between possibilities instead of living one fully. Ariely's lesson is brutal but liberating. To live intentionally, you must let some doors close. Not because you failed, but because closing doors is the only way forward. So the next time you feel that panic, that urge to keep every option alive, remember this. You can't explore new worlds while clinging to old ones. Sometimes the most powerful move is simply to stop chasing. And when you finally do, something strange happens with clarity. You see what truly matters. You start choosing with purpose. You stop reacting and start directing. But clarity is only the first step, because there's one more force shaping our every decision, one that's invisible, addictive, and wired deep into our sense of reality itself. It's the reason expensive wine tastes better, the reason cheap pills don't work as well as that, and the reason price can literally change perception. The power of expectations. How your mind rewrites reality. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're handed 2 glasses of wine. You're told one costs $10, the other $90. You take a sip from each, and of course, the expensive one tastes divine. Fuller, richer, smoother. But here's the twist. They're the same wine. In Ariely's study, when people drank the expensive wine, brain scans showed higher activity in their pleasure centers. Not fake pleasure, real neurological joy. Their brains didn't just believe it tasted better, they experienced it as better. That's the power of expectation. It doesn't just color reality, it creates it. The same thing happens with medicine. When people take a placebo pill labeled $2.50, it relieves pain more effectively than an identical pill labeled 10 cents. The price tag changes the brain's chemistry. The more we pay, the more we feel. This isn't stupidity. It's the brain doing what it does best, turning beliefs into biology. And once you understand that, you start realizing how much of your life is built on invisible scripts you never chose. You don't live in objective reality. You live in a story your mind tells you about what things mean, what they're worth, and what they say about you. And here's the hardest truth. You can't ever turn that off, but you can start noticing it. Because the moment you see the illusion, it loses its power. You stop chasing expensive happiness. You stop comparing. You stop mistaking price for value or noise for meaning. And that's when something incredible happens. You start making choices on your terms. Dan Ariely's message isn't that we're broken. It's that we're predictable, beautifully, tragically, humanly predictable. But the awareness of that predictability, it is the first step toward freedom. So next time you find yourself falling for the trap, the free, the exclusive, the limited offer, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, who's really making this decision, me or my programming? Because that moment of awareness marks the beginning of rationality. We all want to believe we're logical. But as Ariely shows us, logic isn't the default. It's a discipline you can train. By understanding your biases, you don't just outsmart the world, you outsmart yourself. So here's your challenge. Over the next week, catch yourself in one irrational habit, a purchase, a comparison, or a moment of emotional decision. Don't judge it, just notice it. Because every time you notice, you take back control. And if you're ready to go even deeper into the hidden psychology behind money and decision-making, watch my summary of The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's the perfect next step. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. Because every week, we decode the invisible forces that shape your mind, your habits, and your success. See you there.